Good morning. Today we are continuing working with those factors. We worked with prime factorization the last time. Now we're working with, looking at those factors, we're going to look at what the greatest common factor of a set of numbers are. So still working with those factors. Audrey. So we need to remember, what is a factor? Factors are numbers. Oh, it doesn't want to work for me. So let me switch this over real quick. All right, so those factors are numbers that go evenly into a given value. So think about all those factor buddies we were talking about. Think about, is it divisible by 9? Is it divisible by the 5? Is it divisible by the 3? If it is divisible by those numbers, they are factors of that number. So examples might be 2 and 9 are factors of 18. All right, because 2 times 9 equals 18, so they are factors of 18. Or maybe 6 and 5 are factors of 30. There are 3 methods we're going to go over for finding our factors of our numbers. So there's prime factorization, so what we did with our last objective. There's listing and the table method. So I'm going to go through what each of those methods are, and then you're going to decide which one works the best for you. So for prime factorization, we're going to make those factor trees like we did in our last objective. So we would start with 18. What are 2 factors of 18? Rhoda?
6 and 3.
6 and 3. Can I break the 6 down? Yeah. That 6 can get broken down into 2 and 3. 3 is already a prime, so I just go straight down to that 3. So now I look at it and I say, okay, what is the biggest factor that they share in common? So I see 2 3s. So my biggest factor for, oh wait, I'm doing this wrong. I have to do that 15 first, sorry, my bad. So we're at this point. Now I need to break down my 15. What are 2 factors of 15? Jack? 3 and 5. Can I break those down anymore? No, I cannot. So now I look between my 18 and my 15. What are numbers that they share? I see a 3 here and a 3 here. Do they share any other factors? No. So the only factor they shared was a 3, so my greatest common factor is 3. So let's look at 42 and 30. Let's break down our 42. What are 2 factors of 42? And get through, what are 2 factors of 42? Jackson?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. Can I break down my 6? Yes. Into the 2 and the 3. Can I break down 7? I can't. 7 is a prime number already. Okay, so I have 2, 3, and 7. Now I have my 30. What are two factors of 30? Leo? 10 and 3. Can I break down my 10? Yeah. 10 can get broken down into 2 and 5. 3 cannot be broken down. I'm going to just do a little line there to separate them so I know where my numbers are. Now remember, I need to see what numbers they share in common. Shantrea?
2 and 3.
They each have a 2, and they each have a 3. So any numbers that they share in common, I'm going to multiply them together. So they share a 2, they share a 3, they do not share the 7 or 5, so I don't write those down. So I'm just multiplying 2 times 3. Our greatest common factor between 42 and 30 is 6. Okay. So what do we have to do? It's not two different numbers. We have to multiply them together. So make sure you show that. Now we have 3 numbers. So what is factor buddies for 12? Leo? 6 and 2. I can break that 6 down to 3 and 2. I cannot break that 2 down. So my prime factors are 3, 2, and 2. What is a factor pair for 30? Moses? 5 and 6. 5 is already prime, I can't break it down. 6 I can break down into my 3 and 2. Those are all primes. Now I have 60. What is a factor pair for 60, Rhoda?
6 and 10.
6 and 10. My 6 I can break down into 3 and 2. 10 I can break down into 2 and 5. So I have 3 different sets of numbers that I need to see what they share in common. Do you see a number that all 3 have in common? Michael?
5.
Does 12 have a 500? It does not, so I can't do 5. Vinny?
3.
They all have a 3. So I'm going to write 3 down here. Notice how I circle the one that I'm using, because sometimes we have multiples of the same number. So you truly want to circle the ones that I'm using. What else do they share? Evelyn?
2.
They each have a 2. What else do they share? Joy? Do they share a 6?
Yeah.
I don't see 6 under any of these. We're looking only at our prime numbers, that bottom row, because we broke that 6 down into the 3 and 2. We can't double dip and use it again. So we only look at the bottom numbers. Is there any number that all 3 of them share, Rhoda?
No.
There are no more. I can see a 2 here and a 2 here, but this 2 was already used. I've already circled it, so I can't use it twice. Okay, that's why I circle, so I know it's already been used. So they only share 1, 3 and 1, 2. So what is our greatest common factor? Avery? 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So you only look at the primes, the bottom row, and you can only use numbers that all 3 of them share. You can only use that number 1, 2. Right, so we circle it to know it's been used. So that is the prime factorization method. Our next method is listing. So for the listing method, we list all of the factors. So I have 25 and I have 40. What are my factor buddies for 25? Rhoda?
5. Sorry, 5 and 5.
Yep, and I only have to put it 1 time, because 5 times 5 is 25. What else can go into 25? Jack?
Use 25 times 25.
Yep. So I've got 1 and 25. So there's always going to be 1 at the beginning and that number at the end, right? And then we fill in any factors in the middle. What are my factors of 40? Michael? 4 and 10. What else? Rhoda?
5 and 8.
5 and 8. What else? There are a couple more. Fernanda? 2 and 20. What else? Rhoda?
1 and 40.
1 and 40. Now, once I have all of my factors listed, I'm going to circle the ones that they have in common. So we know they have the 1 in common. They have a 5 in common. No 25 here. So 1 and 5 they have in common. What's the greatest common factor? Rhoda?
5.
5. 5 is the biggest factor that they share in common. What can happen with the listing method is it's really easy to forget a factor buddy pair, right? It's easy to miss one, and it's easy to not get them all on there, so we miss what the greatest common factor is. It will work as long as you're diligent, making sure you've got all your factor pairs. So let's look at 24 and 36. What are my factor pairs for 24? Rhoda?
4.
And
6.
what else? What else can I multiply together to get to 24? Joy? 3 and 8. What else? Rhoda?
1 and 24.
1 and 24. What else? Joy? 12 and 2. Now our factors of 36. Rhoda?
6 and 6.
The 6. 6 times 6. What else can I multiply together to get to 36? Jackson?
18 and 2.
18 and 2. What else? Matt? 1 and 36. What else? Vinny?
9 times 4.
9 and 4. Okay. Again, easy to miss some.
12 and 3.
12 and 3. See, I would have missed that one. All right. Now we need to circle all the ones that they have in common. So they've got the 1 in common, the 2 in common, the 3 in common, the 4 in common, the 6 in common, the 12 in common, and that's it. What is my greatest common factor? What is the biggest number that I circled? Evelyn? 12 is the biggest number I circled, so our greatest common factor is 12. Now we have 3 numbers, 8, 16, and 48. What are my factors of 8? Rhoda?
4 and 2.
What else? What's another factor of 8? Matt?
1 and 8.
1 and 8. Now let's look at 16. Factors of 16. Joy? 4 times 4. What else? Fernanda?
2 and 8.
2 and 8. What else? Easiest one? Ashley? 1 and 16. All right, factors of 48. Ooh, you're gonna be easiest one. Easiest factor buddy set.
8 times 6.
Not the easiest one, but yes, 8 times 6. Michael,
1 times
1 and 48. What else can I multiply together to get to 48? Vinny,
16 times 3.
3 and 16. What else? Jack,
24 times
2 and 24. What else? Vinny,
2. 12 times 4.
yeah, 4 and 12. Whew, there were a lot for that one. So let's look at what they have in common. They've got that 1 in common. 2s, 4s, 8. And it can't be anything more because there's nothing bigger after that 8. So what is my greatest common factor? Maddie, 8. This is a fine method to use as long as we make sure we have every single factor pair listed. Okay? So use it if you know you're going to get every factor pair. Our next one is the table method. So for the table method, we have to make a table. So we're going to have 21 and 35 at the top. What we look for is prime numbers that we can divide out of both. So what can we divide out of both 21 and 35? Rhoda?
7.
7. So I'm going to put the 7 down here because I'm dividing it out. 21 divided by 7 is what? Joy? 35 divided by 7 is what? 35 divided by 7. Michael?
5.
5. So now I have a 3 and a 5. Is there a number that I can divide out, a prime number that I can divide out of 3 and 5? So I don't want the 1. I know I can divide a 1 out, but I don't want that. Jack? No, that's it. So our biggest number, the only number we could divide out is the 7. So that is our greatest common factor. I'm going to show you what happens when we can divide more numbers out. But actually, I don't know if these numbers give us the chance to do that. Let's see. So, make your table, 15 and 50. What is a number that I can divide out of both 15 and 50? Michael?
5.
5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 50 divided by 5 is 10. Can I divide anything else up? 3 and 10? Nope. So my answer is 5. Then when we have 3 numbers, we put all 3 numbers at the top. What? Is there a prime number that I can divide out of 14, 28, and 49? Fernandez? 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 49 divided by 7 is 7. Is there another number I can divide out? Michael?
7.
So I have, this 7's already pulled out, so I have 1 7 in here. I can't divide 4 by 7 and I can't divide 2 by 7, so I'm not going to pull another 7 out. Rhoda?
7
Yeah, I can't divide any number out of all 3 of them, so 7 is my greatest common factor. So what I want to show you is can divide more than one number out, and what do we do when we get to that? So on our second page, it says that we can do any of the, we have 3 methods, you pick which method. You can do any of them to get to it, but I want us to work on 18 and 45 together, and I'm gonna show us what we do when we can divide more numbers out. So let's do that table now with 18 and 45. I know I can divide a 3 out of 18 and a 3 out of 45. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 45 divided by 3 is 15. So now I look at that 6 and 15 and say, what can I divide out of 6 and 15? Rhoda?
3.
I can divide another 3 out. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Can I divide anything out of 2 and 5? Rhoda?
No.
No. So this is what I do when I have multiple numbers that I divide out. I multiply those numbers on that far left that I divided out. So I have 3 times 3, and I get 9 for my greatest common factor. So whatever numbers you pull out, that's what you multiply together to get to your common factor, greatest common factor. Does that make sense? Sometimes you could look at 18 and 45 and say, oh, I know I can divide a 9 out. And that would be okay. You could say 18, 45, I divide a 9 out, and I'm down to that 2 and 5. You get the same answer. Sometimes we divide out smaller numbers and we have to divide multiple numbers out. Okay, so then you have to multiply whatever you divided out. So we've got 5 more sets of numbers that you need to find the greatest common factor for. Use whichever method you want, but be careful that you're using it correctly. If you're doing the listing method, list every single factor of that number. You don't want to miss any of those factor pairs because you might miss the greatest common factor. Okay. You can come and check with me if you're doing it correctly. There are some of us who are doing our math objectives, the homework, and we're not doing it correctly. We're not checking it. We're not coming up and asking me for help. We're getting it all wrong. And then we get it wrong on the test because we didn't learn how to do it. Your job is to be brave. Come up and ask me, did I do this correct? Okay? We have work time for a reason. Come check with me. On the last test, I know which ones of us were not checking our work. We're not coming up and asking for help because we obviously didn't understand it when it came time for the test. Put the work in now so we can understand it before it comes to testing time. So use this work time to come up and ask for that help. I'm really, really good at a lot of stuff, but I have never mastered reading minds. I cannot read your mind to know that you don't understand it. If I see you working, I'm gonna think you know what you're doing. If you're guessing, that's not helping. You might get checked off for having your homework done, but it's not gonna help you master the material, right? That's what we wanna do in math class. We want to master the math. We want to learn it. So come check with me to make sure that you are learning it. On the bottom of our page, you need to answer the questions and do the time for review. So remember, when we have word problems, don't be scared off by the words. We know we're finding greatest common factor, so that's going to be a big part of your work, is finding the greatest common factor in that word problem. And when we get to our review questions, make sure you are going back to those objectives to make sure you're doing them correctly. Remember that we have Khan Academy due on Thursday. packet number 3 is due tomorrow. So if you get packet 3 done, get it turned in so you don't forget. Remember to come see me if you have questions. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget to like and subscribe.